Hey guys, we're in the garage with my 2022 Hyundai Kona N. This is the same powertrain as what you'll find in the Elantra N and Veloster N. I believe it has a smaller turbo than the other two cars. But anyway, recently I switched over my torque mount bushings, the lower one that's on the bottom of the transmission. This is what the factory bushings look like. It's a very squishy, ductile kind of EPDM rubber, I would guess. And so the problem with these is that they are very, very pliable. And these four-cylinder engines have a lot of vibrations, so that's what's needed to isolate that from the cabin. But the problem is that when you're doing autocross or driving spiritedly, you get less feel in the cabin, especially from the DCT, or if you have an Elantra N with the manual. It can affect your shifting, make it kind of feel vague. So a lot of people like to throw in Powerflex bushings or other brands. Sometimes there's a Boomba mount that's like the whole mount. Whatever you do to firm it up. And so recently I've done that. I put in the Whoosh, they're the light blue 80A durometer poly bushings that replace those. And they're fantastic in driving feel, but the only problem is I've given these a couple of tanks of gas to break in, and they're still just so vibratey. Like the NVH is just unbearable. I don't know if it's specific to the Kona N with the way the body is designed or something, but it just feels like I have a subwoofer in the floor that's just vibrating constantly at idle. It's even worse with the AC on, and the wife hates it, so it's got to go. But before I do that and switch back to stock, what I want to do is I want to experiment and see if I can switch out one side of the bushings for stock and then keep the Whoosh on the other side and maybe keep some of the benefits of the new bushings, but get rid of that vibration. So I'm going to try that today. So yeah, thing we need to figure out is under torque going forward, what direction does the motor want to rotate? And so then I can leave the Whoosh bushing on that side and then put the factory bushing on the other side so that we have less kind of like pinch on the mount. So hopefully we'll have a little more compliance. We'll get less vibrations in the cabin. So stay tuned. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to run a quick experiment and see which way the engine torques. Okay, so this is going to show what direction the engine is trying to torque. We're pulling effectively on that torque mount. So keep an eye. I'm going to hit the gas. It's in drive right now with the e-brake on. When I apply gas, you can see it's trying to twist this way a little bit. So that gives me an idea. Okay, so that test just proved to me that the engine is trying to twist, if you can see, this way when it's under load. So that means it's putting tension on the mount instead of pushing it into the frame like I previously thought. So that's good to know. I'm gonna get the mount out and we can take a closer look at what that means for what side of the bushings we can swap out. Okay guys, I have removed the belly pan, which is what you need to do to access pretty much anything under the engine. Also, anytime you're under your car, common sense, you want to use a jack stand to back you up. And we're looking right here at our torque strut mount. So this is the guy that I've swapped the bushings on. You can see the blue Whoosh 80A durometer bushings in there. So I just established in the test that the engine, when it's under torque, wants to rotate this way. So it's loading that way and then snapping back to center. So if it's rotating the way we're looking at it counterclockwise, then that means it's putting tension on this mount. So this mount is trying to pull that way. And so what that means is there's two bushings, right? One here and one up in here. We'll see it in a second. It means we're compressing this bushing. And then this one, which at idle is what all the engine's weight is sitting on, isn't really doing much for us. So what I'm curious about is if we can swap this bushing for the factory one, gives us a little more slop at idle when the engine's sitting on the subframe. Maybe we get a little bit less vibration. And then when we're under load, we're just putting compression on this bushing only, so we'll still get most of the benefit. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this mount off, and we'll see you on the bench. And welcome to the bench. This is our torque strut mount. I've just removed it. So currently it's all built up with those Whoosh bushings in it. So like I was saying, we've established that when it's in the car, under load, the car is trying to pull it apart. And what that means is we're putting compressive load on this bushing here, and we are removing load effectively from this bushing. At idle, however, there's a bit of load sitting on this bushing and not much going on here. And I think with these two stiff bushings in here, it's just too tight and you're getting a lot of vibration in the car. I think that can be alleviated if we put the factory bushing back in on this side. So that's what we're gonna do, and we'll go ahead and compare the before and after. Brief side note, this Teflon grease or whatever it is that comes with these bushings is nasty. Definitely want to wear gloves. You can definitely see the difference between these two. This has got a little bit less material, and it's overall a lot softer. It's very squishy. This I can't even squeeze by hand, it's so firm. And this is supposed to be relatively soft for poly. And that is our fully assembled hybrid mount. And we are back under the engine. So the mount is now reinstalled. You can see there's a whoosh bushing tucked in there and the factory bushing right up front here. So as the engine compresses on this one, it's a little squishier and hopefully doesn't vibrate so much at idle. And then when we accelerate, we still get a firm bushing, putting all that power to the ground, preventing wheel hop and the like. So hopefully this works. We're gonna get this all torqued down, get the car back on the road, and we'll see how it does. So here's the before. This is with the whoosh mounts. Right now I'm at idle. I'm in my custom mode. So it's idling around 1,000 RPM or so. And you can I'm gonna touch my phone to the steering wheel. This is with the AC on. It's really not the worst, but it's a little bit much after a while. All right, car is on the ground. Let's see how it is. Oh, it's so much better. No more vibration. Okay, so it feels a lot more like stock right now. Much less vibration. All I can hear is the exhaust, but don't feel anything in the steering wheel. This might be the happy medium. Let's see what it's like outside. So if I zoom in on the engine, okay, still not torquing a bunch. Maybe put it in drive. Brake is on. Yeah, I know, sorry. Let's try putting a little load on it. Okay, yeah. So pretty much exactly what I expected, which is that it doesn't seem to vibrate at idle as much as it did because it has more room to move around, but we're still getting that minimal engine movement when it's under load. Previously, it was like slopping back and forth, like you could really see the engine moving. So that's a huge improvement. I'm gonna drive it on the road real quick and we'll see how it feels. I'll report back. All right, we're cruising down the street in normal mode, which is honestly where I noticed this the most, because the idle is lower in normal mode. If you put it in N mode or whatever, the idle bumps up 100 RPMs. It's really not that bad, but I drive in normal mode a lot. So at idle, gosh, I hardly noticed it. I mean, it's a little bit more vibratey than stock was, but it's not terrible. So if we go right here and I give it a little gas, you notice a little bit of wheel slip before and a little wheel hop. Let's see what it does under load. Yeah, it feels great. So yeah, it feels just as planted and able to put power down as I noticed it was immediately upon swapping to the new bushing, but now it's not vibrating my head off. It's just putting power down and then idling nicely. It doesn't feel like it's rattling the car apart. And I think this is kind of the compromise. I've ridden in a couple of Civic Type Rs. You can tell they have a bit of a stiffer durometer bushing than stock, or than like a, a road going car or whatever. This feels really close to that. I think this is about as good as it gets from an aftermarket standpoint. If you want to maintain the stock comfort, it's a little vibratey at idle here, but if I put it in N mode, that goes away. It's much more tolerable. I mean, before, with both of the mounts, both of the bushings aftermarket, it was like unbearable in either mode. So this is a lot more tolerable. Definitely a little stiffer than stock, but not too bad. Highly recommend going this route. Everyone's taste varies, but I think this gives you a great balance between performance and comfort. And just for the demo's sake, here is a standing launch in N mode with the launch control on. Ready? It's so much better than stock. Just feels absolutely planted. So anyway, I hope this video helped some of you, and there's hope if you put in polyurethane bushings and you want to maintain your ride comfort. Just keep one of your factory bushings and you're good. Anyway, see you guys in the next one. Peace.